Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast. Um, guys, welcome. Hope everyone is doing well. It's a little bit late tonight, doing sort of like a nightcap. For whatever reason, I'm just on doing this, and I hope you guys are receiving my message loud and clearly. I wish everyone blessings. I hope everyone's doing good. Hope their family is doing good. Hope everyone is doing good because there is a war on our families. There's a war on our minds. There's a war for the planet. And I just wish everybody, just happiness. Some of the things that we talk about on this podcast are very deep and very heavy. And at least for me, and I just try to, offer what I think is happening, not necessarily, what I believe, but just from all the research that I have done myself. And again, if this is your first time tuning in, please like and subscribe. The more likes you have, the more we can get this information out there. However, we have government agencies, we have different types of agencies that do not want to get the, truth out there about what's really happening on planet Earth. And there's a lot of things that's happening. And mostly this war that we're having here right now, the United States is in a war, a proxy war with Russia, and they're using Ukraine. And as I said in my last podcast, some of the research that I've done is pointing to the fact that a lot of these banks, I'm just going to say allegedly, a lot of these banks are money laundering. They're counterfeiting the money. The government has the right, well, the Federal Reserve has the right to counterfeit the money, and they are counterfeiting the money essentially, and under the nose of the United States, of the sovereign citizen, and they're putting it to Ukraine. But a lot of that money is not really being spent on Ukraine. And I'm gonna just say allegedly because I don't really know what I can and cannot say on here. But nothing that I'm saying, Noam Chomsky has not said, or any, quote unquote Caucasian white person that works at MIT has not said. And I'm not racist at all. I hope you guys are not taking that wrong. And if you tune into my podcast, you know that I have my grandmother's white, and I have white people in my family. I have Black people in my family. I have all kind of people. My family's a rainbow. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, so hopefully you guys bear with me on this podcast. And there's just a lot going on. And it seems as though that for whatever reason, those biblical prophecies are lining up, that the stars are aligning and things are lining up for World War III. And when World War III happens, millions of people will be depopulated from the earth. I mean, between World War I and World War II, something like 100 million people had died. It is very deflationary in terms of population. And well, World War II was in 1939. Hitler sort of rose to power in 1933. And, they started killing the Germans sometime in 1941, 42, 1940s. And I think that history is sort of repeating itself. Right now, we have the largest asset bubble, which is the dollar. Right now, the United States economy is the whole world is in a bubble, and the whole world is about to default, as we learned from Egon von Grers. But anyways, that's just my introduction, and I hope you guys are following me. And again, I'm new to podcasting. I'm not used to, I'm used to sharing this information with my friends who have insisted that I, start a podcast, or have insisted that I basically, share what I know over the years of studying about the federal government and the government. Been studying about the government for at least 7 years. And it led me down this long, long history, all the way to the beginning of history. Studying about the federal government, the government itself, led me all the way down to 500,000 BCE, before the Common Era, or some misnomer say before Christ. And you get people like Dr. Bershango, who is he's a theologian, and kind of hints at that maybe there was life on Mars. and how they got from Mars to here. And again, guys, I'm not going to go too deep into all this stuff, but I just wanted to really brush upon certain things. But without further ado, let's just kind of get to what we're here for. And again, please like and subscribe if you like the information I'm kicking to you. It's kind of a nightcap here. I hope you guys are following me again. I'm not your average podcaster. I just consider myself a concerned citizen. This is just like me. You might consider this sort of like me seeing you in a grocery store and we having a conversation like, you see what's going on? And yeah, I see what's going on. You see what's going on? Yeah, I see what's going on. You see what's going on. I put my piece of the puzzle together with your piece of the puzzle, and now we have a bigger understanding of how the world is really working. And guys, there's some fucked up shit going on. Hatred. But again, the issue that we have here is central banks. The issue that we have here is the money printers, the people that are able to counterfeit. And some will say the Chinese Communist Party, and that the China and the CCC party are two separate things. So the issue that we're really having here, according to my research, is the central banks. And remember, there's one bank that controls the whole world. The Bank of International Settlements is the mother bank for all the other banks, and that's located in Switzerland. They are controlling the world through Switzerland, and you have the Davos groups. But anyways, let's get into equities right now. You guys already know how I feel about equities. But again, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. The revolution will not be televised. And hopefully they don't take this video down. Okay, but here, let's go here. So I pulled up this from Google, and nowadays, I don't even know really what, they have all sorts of fact checking, if that's even real or not. And, Google, everything you type in Google, there's algorithms, allegedly that the NSA is tracking. They're tracking everything we're doing. Everything we're doing is being tracked essentially. But anyways, I saw this little statistics here, and this was from March 2023, that in Germany, the inflation went up 7.2%. And they're saying that in Germany, they have a recession. And guys, my heart goes out to, any country, any person that's going through hard times. They say that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie The Big Short, but, in The Big Short, they said every time that the unemployment rate goes up 1%, people go hungry and they die. So every time that these numbers go up and these inflation numbers go up, people are going hungry and they are dying, guys. So why is this happening, guys? But anyway, so yeah, so I saw this inflation number, and they're saying right now that Germany's in a recession. But there's just a lot of funny, fucked up shit going on in the government. It's all kind of fucked up shit happening in the government, things that we don't know about. But I think that, people are starting to understand who the enemy is, and that it's the counterfeiters, guys. It's the people that can counterfeit the money. If they got rid of the Federal Reserve Bank, there'll be no more student debt. If the US Treasury could issue the money, we would not have to owe this, what is it now? Something like $31 trillion of debt. For the United States, somewhere between 31 trillion and $50 trillion of US debt. And it's about $1 trillion. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's an interest. Anyways, these numbers are astronomical. I mean, you can't even believe these numbers sometimes, but the government has unfunded liabilities. Guys, I talked before that if you are receiving unemployment, if you're receiving food stamps, if you're receiving any kind of subsidy from the government or from the state, you already have CBDC, okay? Technically, you already have CBDC. And I don't really want to get into CBDC, central bank digital currency, but once the whole system collapses and the money system collapses, they're going to go from one fake fucked up system into another fake fucked up system. Follow me on this, guys. I have a potty mouth, but listen, it is what it fucking is, okay? I'm going to keep it real with you, okay? It's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution Podcast. Guys, we're looking at a chart of gold, and it's all kind of crazy market manipulation. I mean, if we pull back on gold here, you see here. And again, I subscribe to the Ichimoku trading system. This is not financial advice. Guys, full disclosure, I'm not in any of this. I don't believe at all in the stock market, but that's not to say That's not to say that people are not making money hand over fist in the stock market. You know, there's people that are making tons of money in the stock market. But as I said before, and the point that I'm going to be making, you know, trying to drive the point across is that the overarching trend for the next 2 years is going to be in terms of banks, central banks, in terms of hedge fund and money market managers, whatever you want to call people that manage money, or day traders, or people that's in the market. The overall all arching trend is going to be raise as much liquidity, get as much liquidity out of the system as possible. And that's why we're seeing, let's just go over to NVIDIA stock here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I believe that this is the overall arching trend for the stock market. And this is why we're seeing this stock over here, this NVIDIA stock, it went up over 30%. And I'm going to show a chart from CNBC, which I don't watch at all, but I'm going to show a chart for one of the guys that's on there. I think he's pretty good. But anyways, Ichimoku is saying on this chart here that this is an unstable uptrend. So expect a pullback. And as I go to all time frames, I'm looking at again, this is a chart for NVIDIA, and we are looking at, we have the RSI, we have the stochastics. I don't really look at those. I just look straight up at the Ichimoku. If you guys can see here, hopefully you guys can see this. As you can see here, the trading view gives you these technical, as you can see, these technical indicators. Guys, don't follow this. Don't follow this shit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. You need to know how to read the chart. Let me see if it'll bring me back. Again, it's your boy Jay. This is your Revolution podcast. Hopefully you guys are following me on this. But yeah, so this stock went up like 30%. And I just wanted to show you guys real quickly that on all the time frames here, Ichimoku, what Ichimoku is saying, and what Ichimoku means is at a glance, so that you're able to just look at the stock at a glance. Okay. Actually, guys, give me one moment. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. Please like and subscribe. Takes nothing to like the video. Anyways, guys, I'm on the only detox right now. I am detoxing. So I'm just drinking plenty of tea here. It's not whiskey. I don't really drink. Although with everything that's going on now. But anyway, so yeah, so it's looking like this stock right here went up 30%, but on all the time frames, it's a squeeze. On the daily time frame, we have a squeeze here. The Ichimoku is saying that this is an unstable uptrend. And as we go and the higher time frame, there is no support here. There is no support here. Ichimoku on this time frame is still it's sort of bullish. However, we have the indicators, we have the averages, we have single span A average pointing flat, we have single span B pointing flat. We also have the Cajun Sen, which is sort of like a 29-day moving average. It's pointing flat. So price tends to want to revert back to its equilibrium. So here you will see a lot of traders will have their stop losses above Ichimoku. But probably most traders would get out soon as it starts dropping below the Tenkan Sen. Okay, so anyways, but this looks like an unstable uptrend. It could very well go higher, but it's looking like it's going to go through a period of consolidation. Again, the overarching theme here is make as much money as you can in the stock market, short term, pay down debt. That money that you get from the stock market, roll it into precious metals. Looks like gold is still doing what it's doing. There's nothing really exciting going on in the markets. Everything is either consolidating, or it's in a downtrend, or it's being heavily manipulated. None of this stuff is real. again, guys, we talk about this, that these are just derivative prices. These are not real prices. This doesn't, I mean, this is the spot price. This is the universal price that you would pay universally. However, there's premiums on those golds. So when you go to the bullion dealer, you're paying a premium. But it's nothing really going on in these markets but manipulation. They're kind of boring, actually. And again, not that people are not making money, because people are making money hand over fist. But so let's just pull back. Again, I hope you guys are following me on here. And I'm gonna just tell you what Ichimoku is saying. So right now, on the daily chart here, we have consolidation mode. As you see here, the price is inside the cloud. And we have here a golden crossover. We have the Keynesian and the Tinkin-sen. They have crossed, which means that the uptrend is over. Most likely the uptrend is over. We also have a cross here where single span B is above single span A. And so they also have crossed over, and price is inside the cloud, which means stay the fuck away. For lack of a better word, is get the fuck out. This means that it's in consolidation mode. And only the most advanced traders should trade the consolidation mode. And again, not to say that people are not making money in these markets, because they are, but this is in consolidation mode for gold. As we move in the lower time frames, here is looking like it's in bearish territory. It's below the cloud, and it's in this kind of, I hope you guys can see this, it's in this region here, and where the price action is here from this single span A, right? This little area here is a lot of volatility. So from here to here, there's a lot of volatility in the price. And so what we really want to look for is in all time frames, we want to see a breakout above this moving average, but we want to see a trend. So here in the hourly, and really I go by the hour. I mean, everybody's different. And again, full disclosure, I'm not in any of these markets because when Charles Manus told us to get out, we got out. When the market managers or when the asset managers said, get out, stocks are going to be volatile, expect a crash, well, expect a melt up in stocks, you know, we got out. But that's not to say that people are not making money hand over fist. And again, guys, I want to drive home that the overarching trend that you guys need to understand is make as much money as you can in the short term, pay down your debts, and then roll that whatever cash over into hard assets. It could be gold, it could be silver, it could be alcohol, anything that holds its value, anything that does not appreciate that will hold its value, because we're going to be coming up on some difficulties with the dollar in terms of these other countries de-dollarizing and getting out of dollars. So that is the overarching trend that I feel very confident in speaking to. So yeah, so we did have a little breakout here in this chart. However, if we take off the price action, yeah. So expect to see some volatility, expect to see some consolidation in the price of gold, possibly going down. I'm not going to say exactly where it's going to go down, but according to Ichimoku, what Ichimoku is saying is that expect to see some consolidation and for the price of gold to go down. And the last podcast I said, and I'm really quoting, who am I quoting actually? I'm really quoting Charles Nanner and a few other analysts and saying that we can expect for the price of gold once, because we're going to see a melt up. We're going to see a melt up of equities, right? We're going to see them propping the market up, and they could possibly go to all-time highs in terms of the S&P 500. And I'm going to pull that up right now, the S&P 500. Hopefully you guys are following me and this makes sense. And again, this is not easy explaining all these complicated financial terms. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm just a concerned citizen. I do consider myself an investor, and you don't have to be equities to be an investor. Whatever you invest your time, your energy into, it makes you an investor, okay? But anyways, so if we pull back on this market to get a good understanding, is that here was the all-time high. This was the historic high for the S&P 500 right here. Guys, these markets are overbought. We're still in a bubble territory. Yeah, in terms of the stock market collapsing, I'm really quoting Eagle von Grass, who I haven't done a review in a while, but you guys know that Bill Holter, Eagle von Grass, um, Alistair McLobe, Lynette Zhang, um, Martin Armstrong, the list goes on and on and on, guys. And I was thinking the other day that as much as there's a lot of bullshit and evil out there and all the bullshit people have to deal with on their jobs and all the bullshit people have to deal with, there's a lot of good people out there. But anyway, so I think that we're going to see a melt up in equities. It could very well. So here, January, uh, in 2020, um, the third was the all-time high for the S&P 500. This was the all-time high right here, $4,842.38. And then it pulled back. However, we saw this trend line here. We saw this channel here. And a lot of us was expecting for the market, a lot of us was expecting for the market to follow that trend line all the way down. However, it's not. It's the market started consolidating. As you see here, it started to consolidate because here, what Ichimoku is saying again is the lagging indicator is starting to touch the price action, which means that for the monthly chart, we're in a consolidated market. Buyers beware. Also, too, we have a golden crossover here where the Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen has crossed, meaning the uptrend is over. However, I think that we're going to possibly see the Fed, the hedge funds, the quant push up the market all the way up. People are going to FOMO into it because and that's going to create a false sense of security as they prop up the market, and is going to buy the Fed sometime. It's going to buy these markets sometime. They're just papering over the problem. And the problem is that the dollars is not shit. The cash is trash. All these other countries are getting rid of our U.S. treasuries. They don't want our treasuries. The Middle East is getting rid of our treasuries. They no longer want dollars. That is another overarching trend. Let me take some of my tea here. So yeah, we can see S&P. We can expect for the S&P to go even test these highs. It may even test these highs. We may see it push, the Fed and the hedge funds and the quants push this market up, and people are going to FOMO into it, and it could very well go all the way up. And again, I'm quoting Egon von Grers when I say that we could see a Dow Jones go to, what did he say, 5,000, 6,000. I mean, that is quite a drop. I mean, if you get, hopefully you guys can see this here. From this here, we could see the Dow go all the way to 5,000. Let's just say around here. That is almost a 90% correction in the market. Guys, the market is overvalued. Everything in the stock market is predicated on dollars. Everything in the United States, everything in the world is predicated on dollars. People have their 401ks. Other countries have their wealth stored. Well, I can't necessarily say wealth, but have their currency in dollars. Is saved, is vaulted in banks in dollars. But the issue is the dollar itself. Again, these markets are overvalued. And again, I'm quoting Egon von Grers saying that the Dow Jones could go all the way to 5,000. And that is almost a 90% decrease in the value of the Dow Jones. Hopefully you guys are following me here. It's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. And like and subscribe. And I appreciate all your comments. We just want to share information and spread the love as much as we can because there's some really fucking fucked up shit. And hopefully this podcast is not too long because I do have a tendency of going long, but I have some information to share with you as soon as we're done with this. So yeah, I look at the S&P 500. Yeah, so we're going to see it go to all-time highs. We're going to see suppression of gold. I heard that crude oil is sold off. Damn, look at that chart for crude oil. What the fuck? From its all-time highs. It's, a sluggish economy. People are not going on as much, so they don't need as much oil, but that is a 50% decrease in crude oil here. And on the daily, we're still seeing a sell-off on crude oil. This is a stay away. On the lower time frames, we're seeing a sell-off. So, oh yeah, the overarching trend is a major sell-off here. People are shorting the market, and if you don't know how to short the market, then don't. And again, shorting the market is just um, selling at the top, buying at the low, or buying back at the low. As simple as I can make that. Again, this is not financial advice, guys. I'm just sharing information. It's just like if I were to meet you at the grocery store and I'd be like, hey, did you see, did you hear about what? That's the kind of vibe that I'm going for. But again, this is not financial advice. But you know what? A lot of these big media legacy companies are not doing shit. And we may even see, a lot of them go bankrupt or just altogether go out. A lot of their market share is being taken over by people like me. My channel is small, but I believe that it will be growing because we are looking for the truth. We're speaking the truth, and we're trying to do it. Not that we're trying to please everybody, but we're trying to meet everybody where we can. We're all one human race. So yeah, so that was equities. It's really boring. It's really boring in equities. Nothing sexy happening. Nothing really. Tesla's up. They're pushing up the tech stocks, and only a few of the equities really hold up the market, and Tesla's one of them. Again, we went over this as well, that just a few of these equities actually holding up the market. But yeah, so a lot of the tech stocks, semiconductor stocks, and some of these tech stocks. So yeah, Tesla, it had a Kumo breakout. However, it has to show support above the cloud, and it has to show more price action above the cloud. So still be wary, be very weary. As we go into the lower time frames, we see that we see that the averages are pointing this way. So it's pointing flat. It's pointing flat. And again, as we go into the hour, we're seeing that this, again, is an unstable uptrend. All these markets are being manipulated the fuck out. These markets are being pimped out. And the scary thing is that once the market prices in, that people are starting to wake up, and that people are going into actual physical gold and silver and going into hard assets. They're liquidating their money out of their bank accounts. They're taking the money out of their 401ks. And they're not really, the general public is not really going to do that until we see a 30, 40% decrease in the S&P 500, in the Dow Jones, because these markets are being heavily manipulated. And so once people wake up to the fact that not only are other countries de-dollarizing, but sovereign citizens are de-dollarizing as well, and trying to get out of dollars into hard assets, so that once we go into the new system, then they could collateralize those hard assets or they can exchange those hard assets. Nobody really knows. And again, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast, and I hope you guys are following me on this. There's a little bit of a nightcap, guys. These markets are fucked up. These markets are being heavily fucking manipulated. These markets are bull fucking shit. Everything here is a derivative. Everything here is smoke and mirrors. That's not to say that if you're in these markets and you're a day trader, you're a swing trader, or if you're even a long-term trader, that you're not making money. Nominally, you're not really making money unless you roll over those assets, unless you roll over that paper fiat currency into hard assets while you still can. And again, that has been the overarching theme that we've been going into. And guys, I am detoxing. I'm on day 2 of my fast. So guys, bear with me. Oh, look at this shit here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Bear with me, guys. This was, let me stop sharing and see if I could go like this. Hopefully, now for whatever reason, the Sun came out with this article here. Putin's palace as mushroom cloud fills sky and worst attack on Moscow since World War II. Guys, we're in fucking World War III. What the fuck? Wake the fuck up. A lot of us is going to jobs that they only existed in a bubble economy. Wake up. That's why you're seeing a lot of unemployment. That's why you're seeing 50% of the commercial real estate just going off the market and nobody wants to buy it because we were in a bubble economy. And though a lot of people's jobs only existed in the bubble, I hope I'm making that clear. But I logged onto the Sun, and for whatever reason, when I logged on here, it did not let you see all the pictures. I think that there's possibly some major suppression of this kind of information, and hopefully we're able to see this.
If you are type 2 and take metformin,
well, wait a minute. Hold on one second. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me get out of here. Hold on one second, guys. Yeah, so let me share the screen actually. Guys, bear with me. It's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. And this is a nightcap. It's almost like 11 o'clock going on 12 o'clock-ish. And hope you guys are enjoying this podcast. There's a lot of crazy shit going on there. And a lot of this information will blow your mind. It will make you stressed. But, would you want it's sort of like your friend. Would you want your friend to be 100% honest with you? Or would you want to be bullshitted? I would want to know the truth. Because if we know the truth, then there's possibility that we can change the outcome, change the future. And again, hopefully you guys can see this. And I don't know if they got a bullshit.
Feet and legs for these two things that I'm going to show you.
This is some bullshit here. So we're just gonna wait for this to skip here. Okay, look at this. Yeah, Putin's palace as mushroom
Смотри, вот
cloud
прямо над
fills.
нашим домом, братан. Прямо над нашим домом. Прямо на меня летит, сука.
It's flying right up.
Смотри,
Look at it.
смотри. Смотри, брат.
Not good, guys.
Ты видишь?
I don't know if this is true. Guys, we don't know what is propaganda and what is real and what is not real. There's so much, and hopefully in some of the other podcasts we can go over this, but there's so much fake shit out there. There's so much they call them deep fakes, so much artificial deep fakes. We don't know what is real. We don't know what is Hollywood, what is being AI, CGI generated. We don't know. For all we know, this could be fake. So I just have to say that, but this is looking like it may not be fake.
Это я заснял, а? Может, с нашего дома прямо, а? Может, свалить надо отсюда? Вышел, короче, на крышу проверить ситуацию. И они все ближе и ближе. Первый был вон там. Короче, не знаю даже, что делать. Надо спрятаться на меня.
So Moscow was blitzed by a storm of drones and rare attack on the Russian capital after Ukraine vowed to respond to a barrage of unprecedented missile attacks in recent days. Okay, guys, NATO and BlackRock and this current administration is allegedly laundering money through the Ukraine, that they have cloning facilities and underground bases. And Catherine Austin Fitz gets into where the $21 trillion went to. It went to creating these underground bases, that they have underground bases in Ukraine. They have, I'm just going to say allegedly, because I don't want to get fucked up on this, but let's just say allegedly. But there's underground bases in Ukraine. They're cloning, I can't say that, child trafficking. They are counterfeiting the money And so the public doesn't realize that they're laundering the money, sending it to Ukraine in this proxy war, but none of the money is really going to the military of Ukraine. And it's being funneled back here. Okay, so yeah, vowed to respond to a barrage of unprecedented missile attacks in recent days. For whatever reason, they blocked out this here. Yeah, dozens of kamikaze drones appear to target wealthy suburbs of Moscow, where Putin's oligarch cronies have luxury retreats. I was able to kind of understand that, like, if like try walking a mile in Putin's shoes, and no way am I for Putin or Russia, but try walking a mile in Putin's shoes. I believe that the powers that be, the counterfeiters, the central banks that are starting this war, and all the intelligence agencies and all the, World Health Organizations and all the other, alphabet agencies and media conglomerates that are under that counterfeiting system, for whatever reason, that mother bank and the G7 central banks want Putin dead. And guys, if they kill Putin, the leaders that come after him do not give a fuck. They will send us to nuclear war. And anyway, injuries as Ukraine war appeared to be coming to Putin's own backyard, and footage appeared to show one of the drones exploding in a huge mushroom cloud over the village. So guys, this is just not good. Take it how you want it, but this is just not good. Again, if they kill Putin, if they assassinate Putin, the people that come after him, the Kremlin and the KGB people, there's a central bank in almost every country. And again, some of the central banks are not in like the Middle East, where they have usury laws, and Russia, where they're not fucking with these central banks. So anyway, so that's not looking good there, and it's looking like more bullshit. To me, this is just gonna allow them to print more money. Okay, so guys, again, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution podcast. The revolution will not be televised. Okay, so we went over inflation. We went over the drone strikes in Russia, over the oligarchs, over their districts or whatever. If that's even real news. We're gonna get to Jim Willie very soon. This guy is amazing. This guy is really good, Josh Brown.
And now you've used this gain to take some profits of some degree. You've sold a quarter of your position, is what you told our producers. Is that correct?
NVIDIA.
Yeah, this morning it gapped higher, and I took the opportunity to just take something off the table because, man, this is one for the ages, and I didn't want to sit here.
What we say, because they're propping up the market, they're propping up the tech stocks, and it's probably some of that money they're laundering over there in Ukraine. They're probably bringing it back over here and propping up the markets with it. But as we showed in the chart before, that NVIDIA is it's an unstable uptrend. But let's hear what Josh Brown has to say. This guy really
In reversal and not have done something.
Refresh, our memories, if you could, on how long you've owned this stock. And what would you remember when you first bought it and what the first price you paid for it was?
I don't remember the exact price, but it's like I bought it in the summer of 2015, and I remember coming on the show. We were in New Jersey and said something to the effect Netflix was struggling at that time, and I said maybe we ought to replace the N with NVIDIA. And I've believed in the stock ever since then, and it's thousands of percentage points, obviously. I read this weekend that NVIDIA over the last 10 years prior to my getting involved was the number one performing stock, up 10,000%. So this is like,
I think that once the stock market goes down and it drops 50, some people say almost 80%, that this stock is going to be a buy. I heard Stanley Drunken Miller so that he's invested into the stock long term.
Just, you could live your whole life and never see a stock do what NVIDIA has just done ever again. And we may not. So it's been a historic run, but I want to talk about some of the shorter term dynamics here, because I'm still a believer in NVIDIA. I still think they are the best positioned technology company in the world for what's to come. But this stock hit an 86 RSI this morning. It was at 83 on Friday. And I remember, and I think we have this chart, or I'm not sure if we were able to make it, but I just remember saying to myself, when was the last time NVIDIA was this overbought? I mean, this is a stock that's rallied before. And it turns out you have to go back to November of 2021, which was the peak of the tech bubble, where it traded at 89 RSI. If you go back to 2011, it hit 91. That was the highest ever. And NVIDIA's max RSI during the dot-com bubble a generation ago was 81. So you're talking about just a historic level of being overbought. And if you look at the 3-month, 6-month, and 1-year return after that 2011 peak in relative strength, it was -2%, -40%, and -42%. If you look at the November 2021, when RSI peaked last time, the 3-6 and 1-year return was +3%, -37%, and -52%. So now basically you have arguably the best stock in the world, but it's 46% above its 50-day moving average. That's the 6th highest reading ever. And you just have to say to yourself, how likely is it for there to be strong gains in the very short term from here? It's not impossible, but the likelihood of a reversal grows. And so I just want to do what I think is prudent, take some risk off the table, obviously taking off my initial investment entirely. And, you know, just be in a situation where if there is that reversal, I'm not as exposed as I was last week.
Got you. What obviously so interesting about, you know, the current state of the market, the current state of buying into AI related stocks, and
guys, these people gotta know what's really going on. Like, they are so bullish on equities, but you know, that is all paper money. That's all paper currency. These people gotta know what the scam is. They have to know. Not that it's a scam, but you know, they're making money hand over fist in equities, but you know, they're gonna make as much money as they can, take that liquidity and roll it over into hard assets.
watching NVIDIA, Weiss, which was $300 in the moments before it reported earnings, which, you know, we forget was what, 10 days ago? Not even, it feels like. Where there's a bit of a seller in Josh in terms of taking some profits. You're a new buyer.
Yep.
On the close last Thursday, is that right?
Yep.
Take us through that thought process, because that is as intriguing to me as Josh is taking some profits is.
So this guy, Josh Brown, who I thought was Josh Brown, because he has his own podcast called The Compound that I think is really interesting. I haven't watched it in a while, but I really like his take. But here they're saying that Josh Brown sold 25%, but now this guy is saying that he is buying into it. That's what he has to say.
Clearly, I don't think there's ever been a more momentum-driven market than what we're in right now. And that momentum is confined by and large to 7 companies, of which NVIDIA, as Josh points out, is the number.
Okay, Steve Wise, yeah, this guy's he's a big wig
In all of that. So I thought that, look, I was hoping stock would miss and collapse, and then I'd take a fresh look at it for a full position rather than a trading position, which is what I put on. So, you know, Scott, I'd like to tell you I was waiting for it to hit a valuation of 200 times earnings, but that's not it. It was purely plain momentum. I added to it Friday morning before the market opened, and I'm not going to be here for a long time.
Interesting, very, very interesting. So anyways, but I think that the asset classes that we're going into are going to be the strongest asset class is going to be physical gold and silver, actual physical. Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin is going to be, you know, maybe just all the other Bitcoin, like Dogecoin and all those other coins are going to go away because a lot of those are scams. I mean, look at what happened with FTX. But at some point, people are going to want Bitcoin. So the asset classes that are going to be is going to be gold, silver, physical, Bitcoin, farmland, commodities, art, hard assets. Those are going to be the currency. Those are going to be what is going to hold its value. So they're going to try to make as much paper. Say like last time, like this. Let's just say this is what money is, right? This is just paper with a $1 trillion printed on it, right? So they're going to take that paper and buy. Let's just say this is a hard asset, or I'll just use my phone. They're going to take that paper. They're going to increase their paper, right? In the stock market, they're going to buy down debt. They're going to take that paper and they're going to buy while dollars are still in usage. They're going to buy those hard assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, farmland, commodities, art, and hard assets. And then when they're on the other side, they're going to hold those assets. The dollar's going to go away, and then they'll be able to collateralize those hard assets. Meaning, for instance, they'll be able to possibly get credit off of the physical asset that they have, or they'll be able to trade and barter with it in some instances, because the actual money at some point, people are not going to want it, right? Because it's going to be hyperinflated away. There's going to be hyperinflation eating at the purchasing power. It's only 3 to 2 pennies left in the paper currency. And again, I'm holding this up as an example of like as if it was currency. Last video I was saying, money and calling the paper money, which is not. The only real money is gold and silver, guys. The paper is fiat currency. Okay. I've been fasting and I haven't really been eating, but the fasting, I'm feeling much, much better. My allergies is cleared up. I'm feeling so much better with the fast, guys. Try fasting. If you're having allergies, if you're having asthma, if you're having headaches, if you're having weight gain, if you have a lack of energy, try resetting your system. It's a bitch to do the fast, but you'll feel so much better. Your symptoms will clear up. And drink water. So anyway, let's see. Hopefully you guys can see this. And we're going to get into Jim Willie right here on Rumble. And this is the John Claude and Jim Willie Rumble show. And as you guys can see here, you can just subscribe here to the Substack here. All right, so let's just hear what Jim has to say, and then we're going to wrap it up on that and give my final thoughts.
Again, forcing these other countries to create other alternatives, whether that's the Chinese interbank payment system to move away from.
Hopefully, Google doesn't fuck this one up. I mean, not Google. Hopefully, my fast. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't take this down.
SWIFT. And also here, Russia just announced last week that they would accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for international trade. So we are very much moving towards this unipolar world, but specifically with wrestling.
Multipolar.
Bitcoin has been
Moving away from the unipolar world.
Unipolar, the dollar.
Away.
We're moving
Moving
away.
away from the unipolar and toward the multipolar.
No, multipolar world. That's where we're moving. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. Do they have a chance at maybe wrestling controls of price fixing here for gold and silver? Is that what's happening?
What we've got here.
Russia is looking into its own gold standard after LBMA ban. Those are the gold exchanges in London, and allegedly they don't have, like, it's like COMEX over here. Allegedly they don't have any gold. It's just paper gold, or the gold is being sold off. But let's hear what Jim has to say.
It's the Russians are creating a new gold fix, a gold price fix. And the West is going to say, we don't care. We don't honor it. We don't care what you say. We're not using it. It's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
But gradually the West is going to become irrelevant. The West. Europe and North America is eventually going to become irrelevant. Okay, these are harsh, stern words. Eventually, you're going to have Russia, China, India, Iran, and 100 different BRICS nations.
BRICS plus.
Calling the shots, setting the price, and determining the rules for trade payment. And if you don't honor their rules, you don't get the supply.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
one of the drawbacks in the West from deindustrializing and outsourcing industry is you don't have industry. You
Right.
don't have the production. You don't.
That's fucking crazy, guys. We don't make anything here. All we do is we import inflation through counterfeit money. Our largest export is our largest asset class is student debt. It's like $4 trillion of student debt. That's the United States' largest asset class is that student debt. We import celebrities, guys. We import celebrities and defense contracting. Crazy.
Supply.
Mhm.
Now, people were wondering, gosh, why is plastic pipe going up so much in price? It's because the Chinese were supplying it. The Pacific Rim was supplying it.
God.
The United States no longer supplied it to itself. We're going to run into a road with a dead end, Jean-Claude, where the Eastern nations become so numerous that they create a critical mass and start making the rules and dictating price and set up the protocols for an.
Damn, it's hard to see my country go through this. Like it's like crazy. Like it's just like being in high school or something, and you see the cool kids over there. They're like doing good, and they're like all cool. And you're over here. You're like doing nothing. You know, so like the United States now and all these other countries, like you're saying, you have the BRICS, you have Russia, China, and the Middle East. They're de-dollarizing, and they're becoming the cool kids, and the Chinese money or the Chinese currency is the currency that they would want to trade in, even though, you know, allegedly all these countries don't trust each other, and they still, to some extent, is using dollars. But I think Jim Willie is going to say that there's going to be a bifurcation and that there'll still be dollars, but they're going to be creating this whole other separate system. And again, that was the whole theme. If I conveyed anything at all, was these overarching themes of not only other countries de-dollarizing, getting out of their dollars, but also United States sovereign citizens themselves getting out of dollars. But the central banks are going to try to enforce the CBDC because essentially everyone is going to default, or most people will default because of the increase in inflation. But let's hear what Jim has to say. This guy's amazing, guys. Please like and subscribe to Jim Willie himself, guys. I'm just going over the review for Jim Willie.
Economy to function. And the United States is delaying and delaying. It's really quite amazing. They're delaying and delaying the central bank digital currency for a very good reason. Ours is fraudulent, and it will not fly. What will fly will be the Russian, Chinese, and Iranian versions.
Damn.
And the United States is going to be told, if you want supply to your economy, we don't want your stinking Fed coin or US or Swiss CBDC that violates your decentralization and violates your transparency. And we don't know what.
I mean, that's why they created Bitcoin. Jim was just saying how Russia is using Bitcoin to settle funds. And guys, you know that Bitcoin was created for this very moment in history, to decentralize from the centralizers, to get away from the counterfeit money. And again, the central banks, they have the license, they are the licensee, they have the license to counterfeit money, and not sovereign governments, not our own treasury, not our treasury that can mint the money. And a lot of people say John F. Kennedy Jr. was assassinated for this very reason, to get out of the central banks. So again,
the hell you're doing behind closed doors. We
Well,
don't even believe you have gold behind your central bank digital currency.
now some people, different analysts say different things about, oh, United States don't have shit, they don't have no gold, they don't have this, but I hear somebody like Jim Ricker saying that we do have gold. We do have gold. May not be where we think it is or whatever, but just how, you know, they teach us about real money in terms of that gold is like that the gold is like light to a vampire for the central banks, right? They teach us that about money. And but once you have the gold in your physical possession or whatever, once you have precious metal, the hard asset in your physical possession, it is outside of the system. So they cannot even know. Just how we can take dollars outside the system and dollars in the wild, or precious metal or hard assets in the wild, the system cannot see it, the government or the states cannot see it. Same way we can't see what they have. So nobody really knows. But Jim Rickers did say that they have, I forget how many tons, metric tons, 70 metric tons of gold that the United States have, possibly more than that, but that we do have some gold. So different analysts say different things.
We don't want it. At the same time, the West will say, we don't care about your Russian price. And the Russians will say, then enjoy your dark winter.
Cold winter. Dark,
Well,
cold
You know,
winter.
showcase right now in Germany, are they going to wake up and snap out of it or not? I really don't know. I think they will, but I've been very slow in seeing that forecast come to pass. The Russians are going to set the Eastern gold fix.
Yeah.
It will be honored by the Chinese. It'll be honored by the Iranians. It'll be honored.
So that, if we go according to what Jim Willie is saying, that is very bullish for gold, for physical gold. Because he's saying that Russia and China, well, Russia's going to set the actual spot price. It's not going to be this derivative manipulated price from the COMEX or from these commercial banks manipulating the price like JP Morgan. It's not going to be their price. Russia's going to set a new price for it and China's going to honor it. That is very bullish for the price of gold.
By all the different nations that are signing up for the what's called now the BRICS Plus trade union. I had been calling it the expanded BRICS, but they're calling themselves the BRICS Plus. I'm told that in a week or two, maybe a week, I'm just told this, let's see if it happens, might be delayed. Iran is going to be a formal member inducted into the BRICS, so it'll be two eyes.
Wow.
India and Iran will be two eyes, the BRICS, double I. Remember how the pigs joined with Ireland to make Italy and Ireland.
Yeah.
Now the same thing is going to happen. Okay, my point is that there are a lot of nations, and the BRICS just signed up the Pacific Rim 2 months ago. Argentina applied. The entire Persian Gulf will be in it, including the Saudis, UAE, Qatar. They're all going to be part of the BRICS. And they're right now thumbing their nose. This is
Guys, you hearing what Uncle Jim is saying? He's on fire. I love this guy. He's right up there with like Bill Holter. Hey guys, you know how much I love Bill Holter.
more than thumbing their nose, but you know what I'm trying to say. The Saudis are on a short Kremlin leash. They're doing exactly what the Russians tell them to do. They did not expand oil output to please the Biden show. This Biden show is going to come to a sudden end. It's going to be kind of fun to watch. It's going to be tragic because it's really a big psyop, Jean-Claude. I got a client who has some experience in ways I don't wish to describe too much. It's not coming from the dark side. He just has a lot of experience and a lot of connections. And he said, Jim.
Some people say that's not the real Biden, that's like a clone. I was going to get into this subject on a whole nother podcast, but some people say that's not really Biden. That's some kind of a clone, or that's some kind of a double that's wearing one of these high tech, CIA mask. It's like one of those Mission Impossible masks that he's wearing, and that the Biden that you see is a deep fake. But let's continue on.
I want you to understand this. Do you understand that the Biden show is a psyop? It's to wake up Americans. And there's a lot more white hat control within the Biden show than you realize.
Yeah.
It's Jover.
It's Jover. Okay, Jim, last couple of minutes here, I want to tie in a few things and talk about a little bit of crypto here before we go. Now, if there was ever a case against the CBDCs, PayPal just gave us the biggest favor ever by trying to get into their censorship, and they're paying the price here, not just in their stock price here, falling 6% over this weekend's boondoggle, but the bleeding has not stopped yet, and we're seeing people leave the platform.
This was guys, by the way, this was a older podcast. I think this was like 3 months ago, or when this came out. This was in October, so this was last year. However, I'm putting this up because you got to look back at what the analysts say 5 months, 3 months, and then you see that actually what he's talking about is actually happening now, which is the crazy shit about it. But let's continue on. Guys, please like and subscribe if you like the information I'm kicking to you. Hopefully YouTube does not take this information down. But let's continue on.
Form ever since. On top of that, in the same week, we saw Google tapping Coinbase here as perhaps their exchange pick for their new crypto payment. So there's a lot of, it's the wild, wild west here in terms of payment systems. And as we get into this multipolar world that you and I are talking about, and on top of that, you might be interested in
XRP.
reading this one. There looks to be an XRP Ledger node server set up, offered on Amazon Web Services. Now, 2-3 years ago, Joe and I were talking about this. We thought that Amazon would eventually shift their business to become basically a point of sale, all-inclusive services providers for industry, and that they would use a type of distributed ledger to do that. Now, these are rumors here, hard to substantiate for now, but this could mean a lot for XRP, even though there might still have some legal issues. We haven't had the full disclosure yet of what's happening at the SEC level. Let's kind of unmuddy the waters here with what's happening with crypto, this fight against CBDC and this move towards this new reality where we're going to have more choices here because of the extreme censorship and power controls that are attempting to corral us into this new system. Go ahead.
I love a new quote that I heard. Pardon me, I got to stretch it. I just need to move around a bit. I love this new quote. Go woke and go broke. If you want to do this nonsense for the liberal Marxism, well, fine. But if you find that you have no business and you can't feed your family, then kiss our asses and get out of the room. This is coming, and there's a wave. You're going to see lawsuits. You're going to see lawsuits about censorship, because if you, as an institution, as a financial entity, if you restrict information that warns people about health danger, then you're part of a problem, and you're potentially liable for like an injury lawsuit or a wrongful death lawsuit.
So you know that when you start talking about the jab, that's when they want to censor your shit, because this is some bullshit going on with that shit. So
we might soon be seeing class action lawsuits against the censors.
And we might soon see uncensored platforms here with Twitter, the Elon Musk deal. And just here today, Kanye West agrees to buy a social media app, Parler, 4 hours ago. And of course, we have Truth Social with Trump. You mentioned CNN might be the first to say the truth here in our mainstream news, but something is happening behind the scene here to support what you're saying. Jim, go ahead.
Okay, what is the cost of that Parler acquisition? Or is he just buying a stake?
I'm not sure, but I thought he was just kicked out of JP Morgan also for saying this kill switch money statement 2 days ago. But let me see if I can find the deal value. Go ahead.
I don't know the value of Parler. I don't think it's in the, like 20, 30, 80 billion dollars. I don't think that at all. The revenue stream is quite limited by the nature of their business. But Twitter's got a big market cap. I'm not so sold on, I call him Elon Mush. I'm not sold on Musk. I look at his resume and I don't like what I see. I don't like where he's come from. I don't like his parents. I don't like this connection with Langley for funding.
Okay.
I don't like his rocket.
Oh, well, they're saying Elon Musk. First of all, that's really the real Elon Musk that we're seeing there. That basically Elon Musk is a contractor for the government for his SpaceX. He's essentially a private contractor for the government, and he's getting massive subsidy from the government.
Contracts. I don't like a lot about Musk. I have an Australian client who told me a few months ago that he's got some connections in the States, US, and Musk got confronted to join the White Hats or be bankrupted. And the next thing he did was to buy a controlling stake in Twitter.
Wow.
I still see Twitter doing nasty things.
Oh yeah.
Still,
They shut down the Robert Kennedy.
Twitter's full of pornography. It's just a bunch of porno on there. Ugh, anyways.
Junior Health Defense League account. I mean, if Musk was in control and had some policy shift, where's the benefit? I mean, how come the stink is still there? Now, it could be that he's got a revolt within the board and he can't push them out. That's very possible. But if he's got a controlling interest, he should be in a position to get a little coalition to push out. Okay, let's just say you got controlling interest with 38%, because you got, you know, two other people with 10%. Well, you get those people and you vote out the minority bad guys. You get them out. I don't know what I never heard the percent. A room full of equipment, I'm going to light up a neighborhood of 100 homes for the same cost. And who's going to be behind the opposition of that?
So yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it there because I don't want to make this video too long, but check out Jim Willie and the work of Jim Willie, and I'm gonna be doing more reviews on Jim Willie if they allow me to put that up there, because you guys know I go over equities, I go over these crazy conspiracy theories, exopolitics. Let me stop sharing screen. Exopolitical views, and we're just trying to get to the bottom of what's going on this planet called Earth. Guys, I hope you like this, and I just wanted to leave you on this, and I hope everyone stays blessed. You know, love up on your loved ones. If you have loved ones, love them even more. Some people believe that we're in the last days, and I'm not saying that we are in the last days, but you know, the last days as we know it, and just try to spread more love. See you on the other side, guys.